Welcome to Good as Gold, hosted by Nick Grovich, a show dedicated to helping you understand precious metals and rare coins, how to avoid the pitfalls when buying, and how to understand the inner workings of the precious metals markets. Have a question? Call our local office at 1-800-221-7694. That's 1-800-221-7694. Or visit us online at www.americanfederal.com. Now, here's the host of Good as Gold, Nick Grovich.
Hi, Nick Grovich. We're live here today in Phoenix, and thanks for joining me again this week. Last week, we did something a little different. I asked some trivia questions, and the response seems to be that was a lot of fun, so I'm going to try and do that again this week. We had a lot of callers call in. I had a lot of people call after the show, so it was a little more fun than just listening to me ramble on about what I feel like talking about every week. So in that, now I have a little tougher question today, so we're going to do this a little differently this week. The first prize I'm going to give out is going to be a gold coin this week. Last week we gave out some silver eagles, and when I got back I had some certified silver eagles, so the people that answered got something a little nicer than what I promised last week. So this week I'll give whoever can answer this question correctly a $5 gold eagle. That's a 1/10 ounce gold eagle. They sell for about $135, $140. So I was doing some research on an item that we are going to be offering our clients, and I'll tell you a little bit about it. But they're called Combi Bars and Maple Grams. Now, what those are, most people are familiar with 90% junk silver bags. That's the old bags of silver, half dollars, dimes, and quarters. And a lot of people buy those for two reasons, really. Number one, you're buying them based on the price of silver, so it's really considered silver bullion. It's a great way to buy silver if you're looking for silver. Goes up and down penny for penny with the price of silver. You're not really paying much of a premium, so you're not buying them as coins. You're buying them for the silver that's in the quarters, dimes, and halves. And a lot of people buy those items because they want to have something that if the whole economy crashes, they have something they feel they can use for barter or use for trade. And the idea being that, if the dollar became worthless as things progress and the dollar gets more and more worthless, they can take a silver quarter or a silver dime to the market or a gas station, and the theory is that because it's made out of silver, people will trade for goods and services. That's the theory. I don't know if it'll work or not. It has worked in other countries. It's worked. I know it worked in Argentina when they were having problems years back. I will tell you, the only experience I've ever had with that, it wasn't that the dollar was weak. It was back during one of the oil crunches back when I was in college in the 70s, and gasoline was in short supply. I was at Penn State, and there was one gas station on the outskirts of town, and the guy had a little sign up, and it said he would give you a gallon of gas for a silver dime. Well, being a coin collector, I had lots of silver dimes, and back then, I don't remember how many gallons. We could only get so many gallons of gas a day, and I drove a van which guzzled gas pretty well. And for me to go home, it was about a 4-hour drive, so I needed a lot of gas to get round trips. So I would take my silver dimes down there, and for every silver dime I had, he gave me a gallon of gas, and he'd give me all the gas I had as long as I paid him in silver. So that's my experience. It did work. It was a little different situation than having the dollar collapse, but it did work, and it served me well. And I was the only guy on campus with all the gasoline I could burn, so I was pretty popular back then. Anyway, I'm getting a little away from the subject here. So the problem with the silver, though, a lot of people think they should have a half a bag or a bag per person. Just in case everything collapsed and they needed to buy goods and services. The problem is a bag of silver is almost 60 pounds worth of silver. So if you're walking around town with 60 pounds of silver, I think somebody's going to knock you on the head, especially if the dollar's worthless and there's chaos. Somebody's going to knock you on the head and steal your silver. And what happens if you have $100,000 worth of silver? You're talking about $100,000 is probably about 8 bags of silver. So you're talking about 8 times 6, close to 500 pounds of silver. How the heck do you move it? How do you get it around town? I mean, you're going to drive down the street with the back of your car dragging. So, the reality is junk silver a good idea for times of crisis like that? If that's something you're worried about, yeah, I guess it's a good thing if you think the grocery store is going to have anything to buy and they'll take your silver, then it's probably good to have a pocket full of silver. But, I look at it this way. If you could get a small enough gold item, I think you'd be a lot better off with gold, because you could easily put $10,000 or $20,000 worth of gold in your pocket or your wallet, and nobody would really notice it. So the Combi card... the Combi card is made in Switzerland. It's a Swiss Valicom Swiss, I think it's called, is a manufacturer, and it's about the size of a credit card, and it breaks off into little 1-gram bars. So it's a credit card size 50-gram card, I guess, and it breaks off very easily. You don't lose any metal. It doesn't flake. It doesn't crack. And they have videos of it online that shows somebody breaking it off. So gold's fairly soft, and this is pure gold, and it's scored so it just snaps off. And I saw that and I thought, what a great idea! Instead of carrying around a bag of silver, you could carry around 3 or 4 of these cards in your wallet, and if you ever got in trouble, I mean, even in this country, if you got in trouble somewhere and you needed $50, you break off 1 gram, you go down to the pawn shop or coin shop, and, of course, they're going to want to make a couple dollars on it, but, maybe they give you $40 or $50 for your gram of gold, and you have some spending money. If we ever got to the point that you had to barter, I think this would be a great way to go, because again, it's 1 gram. It's 1 gram of gold. It's pure gold. It's very easy to figure out. Gold trades by the gram, penny weight, or ounce. So it's it's a standard size. It's not like some of the old European coins that a lot of dealers push the old European coins, and they have very odd amounts of silver. A sovereign, for example, has 0.1867 ounces. Well, that's not exactly an easy number to remember, or an easy number to figure out what it's worth. So these Combi bars, especially if you travel internationally, I think it's a great thing. You put one in your wallet, and you always have a couple $1,000s in your wallet in case you get in trouble or need some emergency cash. Now I've talked for almost 15 minutes now, and I haven't gotten to my question. We're coming up on a break, so right after the break, I will give you the question. You'll see why I'm talking about these bars when I give you the question. During World War II, they were also worried about survival, and they issued a World War II survival kit to, I believe it was airmen and basically infantry who they felt might be caught behind enemy lines. So that's kind of a hint where I'm going here. So right after the break, I'll give you the question, and I'll talk a little bit more about these Combi bars, these 50-gram credit cards, and also the 1-gram Maple Leafs.
Once again, here's Nick Grovich.
Nick Grovich back with you. If you have any questions, or when I get to my question, you have the answer, call me at the station live here in Phoenix, 602-324-1510. 602-324-1510. So let me get to the question, then I'll talk more about these little 1-gram bars and coins. The question is, I started talking to you about World War II. In World War II, they had survival kits. And one of the things they included in the survival kit was, in case you got caught behind enemy lines, in case you got trapped, they wanted to give the military some way to maybe buy their way out, or survive, buy food, get out of the country, get back to the right side of the line. And so in the survival kit, they put certain monetary items, and I'll give you a hint, it's gold. And my question is this: specifically, what did they put into the survival kit during World War II? Now, there's rumors they did it in the beginning of the Iraqi war too. But from what I found out, they never really officially put the survival kits, the same survival kits in the survival kits that went to Iraq. Although there's stories of pilots in Vietnam wearing big, thick gold bracelets and stuff like that. I guess when they went to Vietnam, they thought anybody who crashed in Vietnam with a lot of gold on them was just going to be robbed and killed, rather than in Europe where they might actually want to take the gold and help you get out of the country. So the question is, what type of gold, what specific type of gold did they put in the survival kit? And I want to know the specific number and types of things that were in there. You can't just say, oh, a bunch of gold, whatever it was. And that's worth a 1/10 ounce, a $5 gold eagle. Now I'll give you an easy one. Here's an easy one for a silver eagle. This will be for 1 pure ounce of silver, a U.S. silver eagle. How many troy ounces are in a pound? That should be pretty easy. So, and you get the answers to that. Call me at 602-324-1510. So I was talking about these Combi Bars, they're called. So it's a credit card. It's 50 grams of gold, and it's scored so that you could break a piece off. If you want to go to my website after the show this afternoon, I'll have this all up on the website with the story about the Combi Bars and the maple grams, and I'll have a picture of it on there. Once you see the picture, it might make more sense to you. But the thing that I really like about it, it's basically just a gold bullion bar. So, if you're just buying gold, just like you're buying Krugerrands or Maple Leafs or Gold Eagles or 1 ounce bars, whatever, it's basically the same thing. It's just gold bullion. It's just in a little different form so that in worst case scenario, you could break off 1 gram at a time. So, maybe you're back in Delaware, Ohio, and you run out of money one night for whatever you're doing back there, and you need $50 or $100. So you break off a couple of grams. You go to the local coin shop or hopefully not pawn shop, but the coin shop, and you take it in. You get $80 and you go on your way. If not, you have something that if gold goes up, let's say gold goes to 3,000 or 5,000, whatever number you want to sell it, it's just as easy to make a phone call to a dealer or to American Federal, my company, and just say, hey, I have a Combi Bar, 50 grams. What do you pay me for it? And we lock that in just like any other gold. Well, it looks like I have a caller. Hi, this is Nick.
Good afternoon, Nick.
Hi there.
This is Steve.
Hi, Steve.
I told the screener that I think there are 12 troy ounces in a pound, but I would also like to interject that my father was a World War II glider pilot, and his survival kit was 10 gold sovereigns.
How many?
10.
10. That's different than what the official count. You're right about the 12 ounces. But that's different than what the official survival kit's supposed to have in it.
Well, that is Dad's story. He died recently, so I'll never know what it really was, but that is what he was given as a glider pilot. I don't know about a bomber pilot or a fighter pilot.
All right. You know what? I will try and see if I could find if it was different for glider pilots. So hang on, and Ashley's going to get your name and your address. And for sure, I'll send you that Silver Eagle. And I'll find out. I wasn't aware there was more than one survival kit, but I'll see if I can find out for sure.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
All right. Thanks for the call. There is a recognized survival kit. In fact, at some of the Long Beach coin shows, I've seen these. They come in a grayish black case, and it was a standard survival kit. At the Long Beach show, I saw one was open. They had one open case, and they showed the contents of it, and then they had two that were never opened, and they went for auction. I do not know what they auctioned off for, but I often thought that would be a really fun thing to have, a really interesting piece of history. So I'm looking for what the standard World War II survival kit was. I don't know that there were more than one, but I'm going to check that out. So back to the maple grams and the Combi Bars, which is not what I planned on talking about today. But the other item that serves the same purpose, again, as having something small and barterable, but still just basically being gold bullion, is that the Canadian Mint started making a 1 gram Canadian maple leaf. Now, what's neat about that, and you have to realize there's 32.15 grams in an ounce. So 1 gram, it's a pretty small amount of gold. Roughly $50 is what a gram goes for in a bar form. So the maple gram is 25 of the 1 gram maple leaves. And it comes in a little card. Each coin is packaged in a little blister pack, and it has the certificate. In other words, right on the little square of cardboard and plastic, it says 999 pure gold, and it says 1 gram of gold. And it's most people are familiar with the maple leaf, so it's that familiar coin with the maple leaf on the back and Queen Elizabeth on the obverse, and that comes in 25 gram packets. So you have a 50 gram Combi bar and a 25 gram maple leaf bar. If you're curious about it, you want to look at it, it'll be on the website this afternoon. Looks like I have another caller. Hi, this is Nick.
Nick, this is Dennis.
Hi, Dennis.
Okay, I think the answer is 5 gold coins, like the Swiss 20 franc gold coin, the Swiss Miss they call it, or sovereign.
And what else?
You're
close.
I focused in on the gold coins. I don't know what else.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll send you out a silver eagle, but we're missing one more part of it.
Okay.
So Dennis, hang on. Actually, you'll get your information, and I'll send you out a silver eagle.
Thank you.
All righty. We have another call. Hi, this is Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that the one I'm familiar with, or I think I'm familiar with, is a British sovereign, the 2 half sovereigns, a French 10 franc and a 20 franc, and then it also had gold rings in it, like 3 gold rings.
Perfect. You got it.
Yay!
You got it. There's a British sovereign, 2 half sovereigns, a French 10 franc, and a French 20 franc. So the last caller got close. He had the Swiss 20 francs in there. I would have taken the Swiss as well as the French franc. I wouldn't have been that picky about it. But you got it right. The 5 gold coins and then 3 gold rings.
How much do the gold rings weigh? Do you know?
I couldn't find that. I saw pictures of them, but I couldn't find the actual weight of the rings.
That's just curious that they would put 3 gold rings in. Why not just 3 more coins? It seems to me to be easier to trade. I guess
they were giving him a little variety, because you would think the gold rings might be harder to trade with, but I imagine they had their reasoning for doing that. Back then the sovereigns and the French francs were some of the most popular gold coins around. The sovereigns they made since, I think, 1439, I think, is when they started making sovereigns. So hang on, and Ashley, you'll get your name, and I'll send you out a 1/10 ounce gold U.S.
Thank you very much.
You bet. Thanks for answering. I guess I'm going to have to come up with a couple more questions during the next break. So that's right. So, I guess the point I was making, I came across all this as I was doing a little bit of research on these maple grams and Combi bars. There's a long history of people carrying gold more so than silver, just because of the bulk, that they could use in emergency situations. Now, am I trying to tell you the dollar is going to collapse and we're going to a bartering situation anytime soon? No, I'm not telling you that. Well, I guess all I'm saying is I deal with an awful lot of people who do believe that the economy is going to come crashing down. The dollar is going to crash. I mean, I do believe that. I just don't think it's going to be tomorrow. And these people are looking for something that serves the purpose of being able to barter or trade in fairly small amounts. And these little 1 gram pieces serve that purpose.
Once again, here's Nick Grovich.
Okay, Nick Grovich back with you. I'm going to move on from the little gram bars and coins. I will tell you, as I mentioned, you can go to the website, AmericanFederal.com, and I will have the story about those coins and some pictures of those on there. You know, if you're one of those people that likes to have a little junk silver around or a little something around just for the worst case scenario, I think it's a perfect way to buy gold. It's, like I said, it's just basically gold bullion. So if gold goes up, it's easy to resell just the same exact way you'd sell a 1 ounce bar or a Krugerrand or a gold eagle. So it's a tradable item. It's not something you just buy and then you're stuck with it. And it's also something I think if times really did get bad, a 1 gram gold coin or gold bar is a real convenient size. A lot of people don't like the 1/10 ounce gold coins because, you know, even in today's market, they're $130 to $140 a coin. So if gold doubles, you know, you're talking about $260 to $300 a coin. And that's a little high maybe for a barter coin. 1 gram that's worth $50, so it could go to $50. If gold doubles, it goes to $100. I think that's still a pretty reasonable amount of money to barter or do something with. I mean, if things are bad, you're not going to get a tank of gas for under $100. I can't get one. I can barely get one now for under $100. So I think they're just perfect for that. And just give you an idea, the 50 gram bar, depending what day you bought them, where gold is, you know, if you bought one or if you bought a couple dozen of them, they're right around $2,300. And that's for the 50 gram Combi Bar. And then the maple gram, it's actually a maple gram 25. It's 25 grams. They go for right around $1,200 for one packet of those. So it's a real convenient thing. If you travel overseas, I mean, I wouldn't go overseas without having a couple in my wallet. Even if you travel around the United States, it's just kind of a neat little thing, emergency money. You know, the fact that you have to go to a little bit of trouble to turn them into cash, I like that because it keeps me from just spending them. But I know if I got in trouble, I could turn them into cash or trade them. So it's kind of a neat thing. When I saw them, I was very intrigued by it. One thing I did want to talk about is how to buy and sell gold, silver, platinum. Last week, one of the callers made a comment, and I actually talked to him after the show. And he was making a point of saying, you know, how does a smaller buyer, because I guess sometimes I talk about these big deals. Everybody wants to talk about their $500,000, $1 million trade. That's not normal. I mean, that's not my average client. My average client is probably about a $20,000 trade if I had to guess at a number. So we deal with a lot of people that they want to buy maybe a roll or a couple rolls of Silver Eagles. So you're talking about a roll of Silver Eagles is a little over $400. You know, a single Silver Eagle is a little over $20 a coin. Now, you know, if it has to be shipped to you, it's kind of hard because the shipping, especially if you just buy a couple ounces of silver, shipping kind of eats you up. It still costs me $20 to ship it, but if you're local, you can always drop in out in Carefree, and if you want an ounce or 2 ounces or 5 ounces of silver, I'm glad to sell that to you. I usually have, I have that type of thing laying around usually in the safe. So, you don't have to spend $1 million. You don't have to spend $100,000. I'm glad to get you what you're looking for, whether it's, a couple $100, a couple $1,000, or a couple $1 million. So don't let the size of what you want to spend deter you. Call the office. It's 480-553-5282, and we can help you out. Now, I did want to go over something else because this comes up a lot too, and it kind of came up this morning. When you buy gold and silver and platinum, as long as you're sticking with bullion or bullion coins, and I've talked about this before, that means eagles, maple leafs, sovereigns, anything that trades based on the price of the underlying metal. The way that usually works is you're going to call a dealer, hopefully American Federal, at 480-553-5282, and we'll figure out what you want to buy, how many of the coins, and we quote you a price. Now, when you get that price, that's based on what the spot price of the metal is at that very minute that you're talking to me or one of the guys at the office. So we're going to look at the spot price that's constantly it changes all day long. There's a very short period of time that the gold market's closed now. It's open almost 24 hours a day. So we're going to go into the market. We're going to see where the spot price of gold is, and then we're going to figure out the price of whatever it is that you're looking to buy or sell. So it works the same way if you're selling to me or buying from me. Now, once you lock in the price, what that means, or let's say I quote you, I don't know, $1,230 for maple leaf, and I'm just pulling that number out of the air. I'm probably close, but that's probably not the exact price. Once you say, yes, Nick, I want to buy that coin, I will say back to you, okay, you are buying X number of maple leafs at X price, and you are now committed at that price. What that means is even though you now have to send me either a bank wire, a cashier's check, or a personal check, depending on how you're paying for it, we're going to lock in the price of that metal. So we're going to go into the market. We're going to lock in the price. So tomorrow the price goes up $100. You're still paying the price you were locked in at. The catch is if tomorrow the price drops $100, you're still paying the price that you locked in at, because any dealer, whether it's American, Federal, or anyone else, typically they're going to go in the market and lock in that price. We're just locking in those few percent profit for us. We're not playing the gold market. And a lot of people get really caught up in price shopping, and I understand everybody wants to get the best price they can. But when you start seeing, if you talk to reputable dealers, you probably won't see an ounce of gold vary more than, I don't know, maybe $20 per ounce. And that's based on how much the dealer wants to make. Typically on an ounce of gold, dealers are going to make anywhere from a couple percent to maybe 5% profit. It's not a lot. So, I move $1 million around to make $30,000. It's not a lot of profit for how much money you're moving around. And so I guess what I'm saying is there's only so much that any dealer can legitimately discount your purchase, no matter how large it is. And the reason I'm mentioning that, I had one of my guys at the office, Carl, was talking to a woman a few months ago, and she was looking for a box of Silver Eagles. Now, a box is 500 coins. We call them monster boxes. They come right from the mint, sealed in 500 coin batches. They come in a big green plastic box. And you can go online and you can shop them around. You'll see a little, like I said, you might see $100, $150 difference between the lowest dealer and the highest dealer. And I guess she had found somebody that was about $100 lower than us, and his price was actually lower than what it cost me for the coins. Now, can certain dealers get discounts on coins? Not really. I mean, if I buy 500 ounces of gold, I might get 0.2% discount. That comes out to about $6. So I might get a $6, if I'm really lucky, I might get a $6 discount. Actually, 0.2%, it's more like $2. So I might get a $2 discount. If I buy them just right and I could put a bid out, I might save $6 an ounce. And that would be a big savings on an ounce of gold. My point is, no matter how much money you make, there's only so much I can discount it, because it's like trying to get a discount because you want a lot of $100 bills. It's like going to the bank and say, well, I want $1,000 bills, so I only want to pay $900 a piece for them, or $90 a piece. They're worth $100. Gold is worth what gold is worth, so there's only so much you can discount it. So when I see dealers quoting prices, or I see advertisements where they're quoting prices that are less than what it costs me, I know every dealer in the country is paying within a couple dollars of what I'm paying. Even if they're buying huge quantities, they're not getting a huge discount on gold or silver or platinum. So it always raises a red flag with me. Well, in this particular case, this woman was shopping online with a company, frankly, I'd never heard of before. And companies do pop up. They come and go. They do. They just come and go. They're here today. They're gone tomorrow. So if you're shopping online, this company had a warning, not a warning, but it had a disclaimer right on the front page that they were experiencing a shipping delay on Silver Eagles. Now, does that happen? occasionally that happens. Usually it's because the mint's backed up on deliveries. But I know right now that Silver Eagles are readily available. In fact, I don't think there's really a shortage on anything right now except for Platinum Eagles. So right off the bat, I'm worried because she's paying less than what the silver cost me. And they're right off the bat telling her she's not going to get delivery for quite some time. Well, that's been about 9 weeks now. By law, your dealer has to deliver within 28 days. So by law, we have 28 days to get your metal to you. Now it's been 9 weeks. This company still has not given her a projected shipping date. They're still just telling her that there's a delay in shipping. I don't know what kind of excuse they're giving her because, like I said, Silver Eagles are readily available. I can get all I want here within, if you want to pay Federal Express, I can have it to you tomorrow morning. So they're readily available. Chances are this woman's never going to get her money. What's happening is the company is taking her money. They may be just playing the market with it, so they might have sold it to her at a certain price, hoping the market will fall, and when it falls, they'll cover her order. Or they might just be collecting as much money as they can before they go out of business and open up under a new name, in the next 6 months. And that happens a lot. I have seen the same people open up after one name after another. They just close down. They have your money. Once it happens, it's very, very hard for you to do anything about it. You'll very rarely get your money back. And in the meantime, all this was so that you could save $100 on a $10,000 item. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, yeah, you want to get a good price. You want to get a reasonable price, but sometimes trying to get every last penny out of it is going to end up costing you a heck of a lot more than you save. We'll be right back after this break.
Once again, here's Nick Grovich.
Nick Grovich back with you. I'm talking about some of the things to watch out for when you're either buying or selling gold, silver, or rare coins. And, it's especially with the internet anymore, it's I guess it's pretty common for people to try and price shop. I know when I look for household items or I look for certain things, I go on the internet too, and I'll check Amazon, I'll check different sites to get a decent price. But what I've learned is sometimes I'll see a price that seems too cheap. I hardly ever take the cheapest price because and maybe I'm wrong, but I always feel like there's a reason it's so cheap. I'm either not going to get delivery or I'm going to have bad service or something's going to go wrong. And I do think that happens a lot in the gold business. I talked about a lady who about 9 weeks ago paid for a box of Silver Eagles. At the time, it was roughly $9,500. So to save herself $100, she's been waiting 9 weeks. I don't know. For me, I would have lost many nights' sleep, which alone would not be worth $100. Plus the hassle, the worry, the wondering if she's ever going to get it. I don't think it's worth $100. To me, it would have been so much easier. Whether she bought from American Federal or she bought from another reputable coin company, she could have spent $100 more, which would have gave a dealer a decent profit. Even at that, I know we would have made maybe $75 to $100 on the trade. So it's not a big profit for somebody spending $9,500 to let the dealer make $100. You have to let the dealer make something, or there's no reason for us to get involved and treat you right or deliver your product. So instead of letting somebody make $100 profit on her, she had to grind it down to every last penny. And chances are, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but after 9 weeks, I think the chances are really good that she'll never get delivery of this. Then she'll have the hassle of going to the Attorney General and filing out all kinds of claim forms. And I can tell you, very, very rarely do you get anything after that. Once that dealer disappears or that company changes names, reincorporates, whatever they do, you're in the back of a long, long list of people that are looking to get paid. So I know another company that last year was advertising gold eagles at spot. Well, I can tell you the spot price is what we use. That's what, when you see gold quoted, in other words, today it's $11.82 is the spot price of gold. That's the price that we use to figure out what coins are going to cost me. So if I had to go buy a gold eagle, I'm going to pay a certain percentage over that for the coin, and then I'm going to add a few percentage points to that for my profit. So when a dealer is advertising that they're going to retail that coin at spot, I know right off the bat they're selling it for 3.5% or 4% under what their cost is. Why would anybody sell you something for less than it costs them? Well, there's a couple reasons. In this case, the company was delivering in 1 year. So right there is enough to scare me away. I'm not going to give you my money and give you a year to deliver it. I don't know exactly how they do it or what their thought is. I don't know. I don't know if they're just selling it thinking gold's going to go down in the year, so they have a year to cover their position. In other words, gold's at 1182. Maybe 6 months from now it goes down to 1150, and they buy it at 1150 and they make $30 an ounce or $32 an ounce. That's a tough way to make a profit. That's gambling. You don't need clients to do that. I could do that myself, just buying and selling gold, with futures contracts. I don't need a client to do that, but there are dealers who do that. The other thing is, by waiting a year, you're waiting for that company to perform a year from now. A lot can happen in a year. If gold goes up and they have a lot of contracts out there who they owe gold to, again, it's just as easy to just go bankrupt. It's just easy to close the doors and open up under another name. So things like this scare me. A lot of dealers, and I don't want to make it sound like all dealers are bad, because they're not. There's a lot of really, really good dealers out there. But it's these guys who are selling for less than cost that, they get a lot of attention because the prices are really cheap, and they get a lot of attention because these are the guys that usually end up taking people and giving people a bad taste in their mouth for coin dealers and gold dealers. But there's other ads I see all the time where they'll sell a 10th ounce gold eagle at cost, or they'll sell silver eagles below cost. And you have to ask yourself why they're doing that. They're doing it for a couple different reasons. Number one, if it's a brokerage house, they're doing that just to get your name so they can have brokers call you day after day and try and break you down so that you buy something they make a lot of money on. And I know some companies, they'll sell you your first order at cost. They'll sell you maybe a handful of coins at cost. But then the broker is going to try and sell you something that's marked up maybe 100% or 50%. So unless you're really strong and you're really good at saying no and hanging up the phone every day, it's a tough way to save a couple dollars. I know some of the internet companies will advertise, for example, gold eagles very cheaply or Krugerrands very cheaply, and then when you go to the site, you can't find them. But everything else on the site, they're making 10 or 20%, which, that's fine. I'm not complaining about the 10 or 20%, but they advertise something that's too cheap in order to get you in front of their company or in front of their site. And then once you're there, they're hoping you buy something else besides what was advertised at the cheap price. So you have to be really careful. Yes, you want to save money, but you have to remember, if you don't let the dealer make a profit, there's no incentive for that dealer to take care of you. I know. I have deals come across my desk all the time. I'm not going to move $1 million to make $5,000. I'm not going to buy $1 million worth of gold, hope I get paid, hope the check is good, and then make $5,000 on the trade. It's a lot of risk to make very little money. Now, if you send me the money up front, so I have the money in my account before you lock in, sure, I'll do it. The least amount of risk I have, the more I'm willing to do for you. But, you have to remember, you have to, in our case at American Federal, we do a lot more than just sell you gold or silver. We try and keep updated with you by email. We tell you when there's things in your portfolio that you might make a profit on. We do a lot of research for you. We're doing a lot behind the scenes to try and take care of our clients. And frankly, we can't do that and make no money at the same time. So you have to ask yourself, if your dealer's, if he is treating you good, he's selling you what you want, he's not trying to sell you what they are making the big profits on. In other words, you're not having somebody call you and constantly sell you the hot deal of the week. And decide, is it worth letting that dealer make a few percent profit so he's going to be there when you need him, when it's time to sell? You want that same guy to be around. My company, American Federal, we've been in Phoenix for 30 years now. So we're going to be there when it's time to sell. We're not there just to sell you a couple ounces of gold. We're there to help you along the way. We're there to be there for another 10 years or 20 years or 30 years if somebody takes over for me. When it's time to sell, we're there to give you information to help you decide what's right for you, what's going on in the market. So there's a lot more that you're paying for than just an ounce of gold when you buy or sell. And the same thing goes when you sell coins. You might find somebody. I've had people call me and say, "Oh, well, you're paying X amount, but so and so is paying this amount." And sometimes it's a huge difference on rare coins. I've had trades where I've offered $40,000 that supposedly somebody's going to pay them $60,000 for, and 3 months later they end up getting a check from the dealer for less than what I offered them. So if you don't get it in writing, you always have to wonder when something's too good or the prices are too big of a difference between one dealer and another. Usually there's a reason for it. So just be very, very careful. Talk to more than one dealer if you're getting a really crazy cheap deal or getting way too much for your coins. You might want to talk to a couple guys and see what's behind it. But you've got to take care of yourself. You've got to be very cautious with it. Join me again next week. I hear the music playing, so it looks like we're out of time today. If you have any questions, call the office, 480-553-5282. Be glad to answer any questions in person and help you with any of your needs.